Welcome to episode 2 of the League of Women Voters of Ozaukee and Washington County podcast. I'm Victoria Benson-Hora, a Cedarburg resident and a member of the League's board of directors. Our first podcast introduced you to our organization's president and vice president and offered you an overview of committees, events, and the work we do in Ozaukee and Washington counties, all through a nonpartisan lens. Today, you'll hear from 3 dedicated members of our Voter Services Committee. And if I may say, with the spring election right around the corner, they have been quite busy with organizing forums and voter registration events. So, Amy, let's start with you. Please tell us about your role in voter services.
I am co-coordinator of voter services. Barb Johnson, who you'll hear from later, will talk about her role. But primarily I focus on the candidate forums, which happen in the spring. These are local elections that we put together forums for all the candidates who are willing and who want to participate in forums that are open to the public.
Can you define forum? Live, over the air, what is that?
Sure. Well, I think historically the League has done face-to-face forums. So they've done them locally and they've had an audience. Because of COVID, we started to do online forums. And so that really has proved to be a really good format for us. And so it's not a debate. It's a forum where we request questions from the public and we organize a set of questions to ask all of the candidates who participate. So they each get a shot at answering an important question. They are online. We record them ahead of time, and then we make them available through the League's website or the Facebook page. Now, we also have a hybrid forum this season, and so it's going to be a little bit different where we have an audience and then we also record it and then it also will be made available to the public. So it has changed over the years how we've done it. The reason we do, though, the online forums is we really have a wider audience access the videos. They're online, they're easy to get, and so we've had hundreds really access videos of the forums.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So my question is then, how do you decide what questions to ask? Do you sort through them? Do you have other people working with you? I can imagine it could be a big job.
Sure. Well, we have actually teams in each of the communities. So we have a team in Cedarburg that works on the forums there. I'm in Port Washington, and so I coordinate those. Thiensville, and then what is our fourth? Grafton is our fourth community. And so we have teams there who will identify candidates, identify races, determine which races the participants want to participate in a forum, so we ask. We also work collaboratively with some entities. So in Port Washington, I'm working with the Port Washington Saukville School District on the forum that we're having tonight. And in Grafton, we are working with the Chamber of Commerce. So then we decide which forums, and these teams really do a lot of this work. And then we put out a survey about a week and a half before a forum and ask the public to submit questions. And so we gather those questions and sort them and really try and get a good representative sample of all the issues and the concerns that the community might have.
So how many forums have already happened for this election cycle?
Sure. We just completed, we had one on February 28th in Thiensville for the village president. And tonight we actually have a forum in Port Washington. We're recording it tonight, which means it will be available in a couple of days on, I think, the Port Washington Saukville School District website as well as our websites. Then we have one tomorrow, which is the Grafton Forum for the village trustees, and that's at 7 o'clock. And there is a possibility for people. 6:30. I was just good. It's at 6:30, and it is at the Rose Harms American Legion in Grafton. Now that does invite an audience, and then it will be recorded, and it will then be shared with the public. And then we have one more forum, which is for the Ozaukee County Board of Supervisors. Only for District 17, a candidate requested a forum, and this is how it often happens as well, as the candidates may ask the league to put together forums. So we're doing that on March 18th at 7 o'clock. We're recording it, and then it will be made available to the public.
You mentioned that people can submit questions and then later find the recordings. Do you have a website? Where do we go? Where do we look?
Right.
What is the...
Well, for the League of Women Voters website is lwvozaukee.org. And you can go there and find the recording of the forums. Also, the Facebook page will post those. And then any of the organizations that we're working with, they usually will post the link to the recording on their website.
Oh, wow, that's fantastic. So you have partnership in some of the communities, and then in some of the other communities, like you said, for the supervisors, a candidate actually requested if you could set something up. Okay.
Yes.
So it works both ways, from the candidate or from the community as a whole.
Absolutely. And I think also the team in each of these communities also kind of seeks input from people as to whether or not this would be a forum of interest to the community. So
wonderful. Well, I appreciate all that information. I would like to let's move on. Thank you so much, Amy.
You're welcome.
And we need to hear from Barb Johnson now. She is involved with educating and assisting with voter registration. And I'd like to hear about your work, what you've been up to. And also, once somebody has decided that they want to vote and they want to register and they found out about their candidate, how do they go about this if they haven't already? So I've got a lot of questions for you, so fire away, Barb.
Okay. Well, I'll start with voter registration assistance. Most of our events take place in the fall. Right now in the spring, we haven't really had any assistance events, although there's interest now in Washington County. They're a new part of the league, and some of those people are interested in having a voter registration training event, and then possibly setting up registration events in Washington County this spring. Once a person decides they want to vote, of course, they must be registered to vote. And we have found that in Washington County and Ozaukee County, there's great participation in elections in the past.
Yeah, wasn't in the last election, it was something like 80% of the registered voters? Mm-hmm.
Yes, very high participation. And so the easiest way to register to vote is on the state website, which is www.myvote.wi.gov, the MyVote website. And so who needs to register? Well, people who are first-time voters in Wisconsin, people who have moved from another municipality in Wisconsin and have changed their address, so they need to update that address, people who have changed their name, and people who may have been registered before and have voted, but they haven't voted in 4 years, because then their names are omitted or taken off from the poll rolls. And so registering online is really easy, and what you need is a valid and unexpired Wisconsin driver's license or Wisconsin ID. And to use your driver's license, your address must be current with the DMV. So if you have changed your address, you can go to MyVote and follow the prompts on changing your name, and they will direct you to the DMV website, and you can take care of that all online.
So, Barb, I have to interrupt here. What happens if I don't have a driver's license? I don't drive, or I don't have an ID, but I'm a citizen. I live here. How can I vote?
Yes. Well, you can. There on the MyVote website, if you are interested in getting a Wisconsin ID, it tells how you can do that. You can get one free of charge.
Free of charge, important.
Yes. Other than that, you can register with a paper registration. And all you do is fill out the form and include a copy of your proof of residence with the application. And send that to your clerk or take it in person to the clerk's office. Now, the different forms of proof of address include such things as a bank statement or a credit card bill or paycheck, anything that has, and it's an official thing that has your name and address on it.
Or if I understand correctly, people can go directly to the city hall, talk to the clerk, and they have information there too.
Absolutely.
They could register them.
Yes, but you still need your proof of
I see.
residence.
Well, in fact, when I was there the other day, they have some great information. I picked up a sheet, acceptable proof of residence, a paycheck, a utility bill, a student ID, even a hunting license will work.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
Amazing.
And so you can register online or by paper up to 20 days before the election. Now, this election is April 2nd, so that has already passed. The deadline was March 13th.
Okay.
But there are other ways to register. You can go to the municipal clerk's office until the Friday before the election, which is March 29th, or you can also vote register at the polls on election day. But you always have to have your proof of residence with you.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I remember at the last election, I think the line for people to register was longer than those that were voting. It was kind of an exciting thing to see. Mm-hmm. Barb, what about, let's say there's some kids who are off at college somewhere, but they're Cedarburg residents. What do they do? Can they still vote here? Do they register up there?
Good question. What we recommend is for students to register to vote at their Wisconsin residence. That is probably their parents' address where they have been living. And then they request an absentee ballot be sent to them at their school, wherever they may be. Oh. They could, if they're really established in the place where they go to school and don't come home much and all that, they could look into registering at that place. But yeah, the most common thing is for college students to vote with an absentee ballot.
Okay. Now, I need to clarify something. When you are hosting one of the voter registration events, you don't really register the people and you don't tell them who to vote for or anything like that.
No, we do not actually register the people. We help them to register. And then all that information goes to the clerk, and she's the one, or he's the one, who enters it into the official, poll list for that municipality. And as far as telling them who to vote for, no. We do not do that. And we don't care who they vote for. We just want them to vote. That's the bottom line.
So important. Mm-hmm. Yes, one of the great missions of the League, just get out there and vote. Thank you, Barb. Really great information. I'm thinking here now, though, what if I want to know more about the candidates, like the ones that maybe are not in a forum? I want to find out about them. Or how do I even find out what is going to be on my community's ballot? Libby, Brennan, I understand you've been working on a great online source that can help with this. Can you tell us about this, please?
Yes, Victoria. Vote411.org is the League of Women Voters Educational Fund online voter tool. It was established in 2006, so it's been around quite a while, and it really does serve millions of voters across the United States. So its purpose is to provide candidate and race information for races that are local, that are national, that are at the state level. So often we hear from voters after they register, now what? Where do I go to find out about candidate information? Yes, you can still go out to every individual candidate website and try to pull together information. But Vote411 researches the races researches the candidates, pulls it all together. We like to think of it kind of as a one-stop shop because it also does serve as a place to verify registration and eligibility requirements, things like Vote 411 does too. So Vote 411 is an online resource for those who, want to do their research online.
Libby, I have to ask this. Who's writing up the information that's on there? Where does it come from?
How we handle it, and for Ozaukee and Waukesha County, we search out all the races that are upcoming in our local elections. We talk to the local clerks and we get that information. And then we reach out to the candidates and we say to the candidates, hey, we have this online voter guide. It will list your race and your candidacy by name, and we'd like you to provide some information about your race and about your candidacy. Why are you running? Your campaign website, how they can reach you. This year, or I should say this season, we did reach out to candidates for contested races. So there are many local races that are run uncontested, unopposed, and we don't pursue those with the candidates. So we ask the candidates to give us their information and answer 3 questions about why they're running and what's important to them and what they believe is important to their communities.
What are the questions? For example, I guess the lead question we ask all candidates is, why are you running? What's important in your community that causes you to run? And I think that's such a wonderful open question to get at the details or the interests of that candidate. That we do follow up with what are your experiences and top issues and things like that. I do want to say that the candidate information, while it's posted out there, it's a really easy to use format. Oh, wonderful. Good. I'm not very tech savvy, so that's important for me to know all of that.
Well, I will say this. It's vote411.org.
Okay.
And you put in your address, and then you can see the races.
Thank you. I need to know those steps.
It's easy format.
Excellent. So this is the Vote 411. Is it just for Wisconsin elections, or did you say it also will have national or state information, or...
It's for all elections because we believe every election is important, right? We're hearing a lot about our national races, and sometimes we hear about what's going on in our state races, but local elections, too, are just as important. So how the Vote 411 platform works is you put in your address, and it comes back with the ballot of all the elections. Anything that you might see on your ballot will be presented to you just as if you were standing there. And you get to, read who the candidates are. I should say we also have quite a few referendums going on in Ozaukee.
I was just going to ask about that. Yeah, I read something in the local paper so I could find out about that too.
Yes.
Because I know the last time I had to vote on something, the wording was so obscure, I wasn't really sure if to vote yes or no because I didn't understand.
Yeah. For the referendum questions that we have included in Vote 411, we do have a section that says what vote yes means and what vote no means. So it will give information about what happens if you vote yes or what happens if you vote no.
Wow, that's amazing. Before I close up with Amy and Barb and Libby, I wanted to ask, is there anything else that you want our listeners to know? Can you maybe repeat some of these websites or things that you were talking about? Oh, I see Libby hand up. All right, fire away.
Yeah, we were really busy with Vote 411 this year for Ozaukee and Washington County because they're new to, Washington County's new. So, we've posted 71 races in our counties.
Oh, my gosh.
Those are local and municipal races. That's a lot. And, there are school board races on there. We talked about the referendums and, 26 Ozaukee County board races across our county. And we've invited 61 candidates to respond, and they've and 45 of them have responded, given us information about their races. You can compare them side by side.
Excellent. So, congratulations. Yes, I see Barb.
Yes, I want to remind everybody that the next election is April 2nd, and the polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., You can vote early in your clerk's office,
Okay.
starting March 19th until the 29th. That's the Friday before the election. And those hours are 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. However, that's in Cedarburg, and you should contact your municipal clerk to find out when the office is open for early voting wherever you live. And to vote, remember you must need a valid picture ID. And that's usually the Wisconsin driver's license or a passport, or there's a website where you can find out what photo would work, and it's called bringit, one word, bringit.wi.gov.
Wonderful. And Amy, we've got a forum, tonight, tomorrow night? You've already had one?
Yeah, we have two coming up. And I guess the only thing I would mention as well is that all of the work that we talked about, the Vote 411, the registering people and to vote, and then also the forms, are really nonpartisan. That is really one of the key things about the League of Women Voters. We want people to vote. We want to present information that is nonpartisan, that actually the candidates present. We don't really have anything to say about what they present. So I think that's an important aspect of the League.
Very much so. Well, thank you so much, my friends, for joining me this morning, and we thank the Cedarburg Public Library for letting us have this event. So, everyone, remember, be sure to vote on April 2nd. Very important amendments, local elections, because your vote is your voice.